live in the low country and because there's so many things to do. Honestly, Colleton State Park has not even been on my radar, mainly because it's the smallest state park and we don't own a canoe. However, earlier this year, I purchased the state park passport, and because of this, my family and I are going to try and visit all of the state parks so we can become ultimate outsiders. So far on our journey, I have to say my kids have really loved collecting all the passport stamps. I knew this park would be very small, but I didn't realize how nice it would be. When we first arrived, we found that because it's so small, the camp store is only open a few hours throughout the day. Fortunately, we made it just in time to get our stamps and to pick up some free fishing rods through the State Park Loaner Program. In fact, after filling out the paperwork for the loaner fishing rods, the park ranger told us that if he was not in the store, to just put the rods on the outside ice box and he would take care of it. That is surely a testament to the kind of honest people who come here. At first glance, this park may only seem exciting if you have a kayak or a canoe. And honestly, because of that, I did not think that this state park would be very kid-friendly. Especially when I noticed that there were no children or young campers. However, everyone at this state park was very friendly and curious about our little family. One really nice thing I can say about the campsites, they all have full hookups. The most impressive sight that I noticed during our trip was their cabin, which I couldn't tell for sure, but appears to have a fenced-in backyard that overlooks the river. One of the things that my children really enjoyed at Colleton State Park was the walking trail. It was really neat because it took you on a very short boardwalk through the swamp. In fact, when I was talking to the ranger about the best place to fish, he mentioned that a lot of people choose to walk to the boardwalk and fish, but they often lose their hooks. While it was a beautiful trail, I honestly would have been a little scared if my husband had not been with us and it was just the boys and I, because it looked very snaky. On the other hand, it is a very short trail, so if something happened, it would be easy to get help. What I really enjoyed about the trail was that there was a brochure that pointed out certain plants, and I really enjoyed that. Another thing that my children were very excited about was that this park participates in the Junior Ranger program. This program is not really advertised, but it is a free program for children. While not every state park offers the Junior Ranger program, the only state park that offered this previously to our visit to Colleton was Charlestown Landing. While at Charlestown Landing, the kids got to complete a small booklet, after which they received a badge, cups, and camping spoons. While there, I also discovered that the Junior Ranger program has 3 levels, depending on your child's age. We were really hoping for kind of the same experience at Colleton State Park. Unfortunately, the ranger said that he was out of everything. I guess that's not a complete surprise. We went on a Sunday afternoon, so there weren't many people. But because so many people now live in the Low Country, I'm sure that even this small park has a good number of guests. In the eyes of my children, the ranger did make up for this, because every time they ran into him, he had a bucket of candy that he let them pick from. On the way down to the river and kayak launch, there was a very cool map, which shows all of the landings. In addition, we really loved the benches located near the river, and that is actually where we had our picnic. While at the river, I did notice a canoe rental place, but upon going to their website, I could only see prices for renting a canoe and staying at one of their tree houses, which looks like a very cool experience, but is just way too much money for us to spend. Probably the most upsetting aspect of our trip was using their fishing rods, which didn't really work well. Besides not wanting to cast, another issue we had was not having any bait. While I was picking up the fishing rods from the park ranger, he told me not to worry about bait, that it would be very easy for me to find bait. Well, I can honestly say he overestimated my ability to do that. While I did dig under leaves and look under logs and rocks, all I found were a few beetles, ants, and spiders. However, honestly, I was just happy I didn't find any snakes. After trying to unsuccessfully fish with a balled up peanut butter and jelly sandwich and later a beetle that I killed, we decided to stop fishing and visit the playground. On an unrelated note, a few days ago, one of my friends told me the best way to catch an alligator is by using marshmallows. Apparently, they love them. Immediately, this trip came to my mind, and I thank God I hadn't made a fluffernutter sandwich instead of a PB&J. Because if I would have caught an alligator, I probably would have passed out and fell in the river. In addition, that reminds me, if you're interested in bringing your pets, you can, but you need to make sure that they are on a leash no longer than 6 feet, which is usually the case in our South Carolina state parks. Of course, my children really loved the playground. When we first arrived, there was a large family get-together in the picnic area beside the playground. But by the time we went back to that area, we were the only ones. I will say one thing I noticed about this campground is that it is very clean. And I believe that the kind of people who stay here really care about this state park and keeping the riffraff away. If you're interested in visiting Colleton State Park and you don't have a passport, don't worry, admission is free. And while I would always suggest checking with the website about the hours, as of right now, it states that the park is open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. I know that in the future we will visit this park again, probably when the kids are old enough and we have the equipment to take a river trip to Givens Ferry State Park. I have read that depending on the water levels, the trip can take up to 8 hours, and our children just aren't old enough to handle that yet. One recommendation that I feel comfortable making after visiting this state park is to wear bug spray. Personally, I do not wear bug spray because the smell usually makes me sick. While not a surprise, we noticed a lot of mosquitoes, especially on the swamp trail. If you are trying to decide on whether to camp at Givens Ferry or Colleton State Park, in my brief experience in visiting these two parks, I have personally noticed that Givens Ferry tends to have a more contemporary crowd. Although I'm not sure why, and it may depend on the time of year, as Givens Ferry hosts a music festival. Another question that I've noticed is frequently asked online is if Colleton State Park offers swimming. When we went, it was still too cold for swimming, so I didn't see anyone. However, I did notice several signs saying that swimming is not recommended. If swimming is important to you, Givens Ferry does have a small swimming and sandy area. However, the only time we were at Givens, a snake did cause people to evacuate. Although my main concern when getting into the dark waters of the Edisto isn't necessarily snakes, but alligators. As a upstate girl, I prefer swimming at state parks where I only have to worry about alligator gar. While I was putting the fishing rods on top of the ice cooler, one of the really cute details that I noticed was the red rocking chairs. This is a really cool detail, as one of Walterboro's symbols is the red rocking chair, as Walterboro is known as the front porch of the Lowcountry. In conclusion, according to our state park booklet, Colleton is situated just a short distance from Interstate 95 and connected to Givens Ferry State Park via a 23-mile river trail on the largest blackwater river in America, the Edisto. This park serves as the headquarters for the Edisto Canoe and Kayak Trail. The park is 35 acres and includes the following: a cypress swamp nature trail, biking, picnicking, 25 campsites, primitive campsites which are easy to access beside the store and parking lot, a gift shop, a ball field, a volleyball area, birding, geocaching, and fishing for brim, catfish, and redbreast. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and it has inspired you to get out and explore some of South Carolina's state parks. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, and as always, thanks for watching.
Yay!
Yay!
Better than me.